Peace, Moors. Five on the left, two on the right. Allah, the Father of the universe.
Allah, the Father of the universe.
Father of love.
Father of love.
Truth. Peace. Freedom. And justice. Allah is my protector.
Allah is my protector.
My guide.
And
And my salvation. By night. And by day. Through his holy prophet. Noble Juwali. Islam.
You want to see it later?
Prophet warns all Muslims, governors ordered to read proclamation at each meeting. I hereby inform all members that they must end all radical agitating speeches while at work, in their homes, or on the streets. We are for peace and not destruction. Stop flashing your cards at Europeans. It causes confusion. Remember, your card is for your salvation. Failure to obey these orders will be of severe consequence. We are for love, truth, peace, freedom, and when these principles are violated, justice must then take its course. Any member or group of members who hold malicious feelings toward the temple or the prophet, or violate the divine covenant of the Moorish movement, will receive their reward from Allah for their unjust deeds. All true Moors will and must obey the law as laid down to them by their prophet. If they lose confidence in their prophet, they should turn in their card and button, cease wearing their turban and fez, and return to the state where I, the prophet, found you. This is a holy and divine movement founded by the prophet Noble Juwali. And if the prophet is not right, the temple is not right. The prophet, therefore, is sending out a divine plea to all Moorish Americans that they do their part in protecting their prophet and the temple. This is an everlasting movement founded by the prophet through the will of Allah to redeem his people from their sinful ways. Noble Juwali. Islam. To be proclaimed at every meeting. Islam. I am glad to know that I have a few faithful Moors among you all, and I desire for them to know the truth and the divine truth. There is a host of jealousy about me and the movement now by the same people of our side of the nation that claimed that it was only a joke and unreal. But now, since they have found out from the government officials and the nations of the earth that this is the only sole foundation that all Asiatics must depend upon for their earthly salvation as American citizens, they are working every scheme that they can to disqualify me, so they may take charge of the situation. I have notified all these things to you long ago in the past. It is through the faithful Moors that attribute to the movement and uplifting funds. The ones that paid their divine respect to me and the movement will be remembered. That is why I am calling upon all faithful Moors to increase their faithfulness to me, your prophet, and your divine Moorish movement. I need finance, and I need it badly. Never before have I needed finance so badly as I do at present, so I can shove aside the discord that is facing the nation. It all comes through jealousy because of my fame and nobility. The nations of the world will not recognize the movement without I, the prophet, being head. It has been proven by my works, which I have performed in the past few years. Prophet Noble Juwali. To the members of the Moorish Science Temple of America, Islam. This is the instruction from your Prophet Noble Juwali. Be faithful unto your forefathers' divine and national creed, that you would be blessed for your good deeds that you sow in the flesh. Allah is the one that judges the world, and his judgment is now on, but the weak can comprehend it not. The end of time is drawing near, so says Allah to his divine prophet, I, Noble Juwali. And that's why many hearts have been turned to stone. Many have eyes to see, but cannot see, ears to hear, but cannot hear, lest they would be confounded of their sins. These are trying hours now, dear Moors, and every evil spirit is moving, and they are trying every weak mind to overthrow and drag out the true foundation that has been laid, and to cause confusion in the minds of the ones that do believe. But if you have the true love of Allah and the spirit of your forefathers, you fear not what you hear or see, but would sacrifice the utmost of your very life to protect your movement and your prophet. Watch your enemies, dear Moors. Your enemies are the ones that speak against your prophet and ridicule him to the very lowest, and the ones that speak against your divine and national principles of your temples. Act accordingly, and Allah would bless you for your good work. Peace. Your divine prophet, Noble Juwali.
Because I have the Holy Spirit, and I can. The Holy Spirit wouldn't make you join a white man. Who taught us white and black? Society, yes. No, they did not. You got to put ownership. This is a problem with Christians, black Christians. White man taught us white and black. Before we got to America, who taught us white and black?
Nobody.
Nobody. You was a tribe. Even when we was Israelites in Africa, you was a tribe. Your tribe got taken away from you by his ancestors. How the fuck could he be your brother? Right. How could he? Right. When he's benefiting off of what his ancestors did to your ancestors. He on the top, you on the bottom. But you're gonna follow the religion that not you. You're just a prop for now. If God was all love, where was the love when his people was enslaving us?
But you know what we did to get enslaved?
We disobeyed God. How would you ever believe anything they taught you?
Because I have the Holy Spirit, and
The Holy Spirit wouldn't make you join the white man. Who taught us white and black?
society has.
No, they did not. You got to put ownership. This is a problem with Christians.
Weird watching black people get mad at white people for starting functioning white communities. It's like, you know how happy we'd be to see black people start a functioning black community? Like, we would leave you to it. We would be, oh my goodness, good for you guys.
You know, I think what's even funnier is that you would love to see black people create functioning communities. And what's interesting is that black people have created functioning communities. And each time we do, white people do one of four things. You bombed it, you stole it, you renamed it, or you sold it back to us. Did you need some examples? Buckle up. 4 fully functioning black communities. The first, Tulsa, Oklahoma, the year was 1921. Black Wall Street, thriving, over 600 black-owned businesses. White people didn't like it, so they mobbed it and bombed it. Rosewood, Florida, 1923. A prominent black community wiped off of the face of the earth over a lie. Seneca Village.
Weird watching black people get mad at white people for starting functioning white communities.
Shalom to all the Moors worldwide. Honors to Noble Drew Ali. Happy Moorish History Month. We're here, kick you in the head with it. Just because this is the month that we're supposed to study and all that. This is Roger B. Taney, Chief Justice, Supreme Court, March 1857. 1857. Right? 18 before 19. And then they're talking about all this stuff happening in 19. Right? They had, for more than a century before, been regarded as beings of an inferior order and altogether unfit to associate with the white race, either in social or political relations, and so far inferior that they had no rights which the white man was bound to respect, and that the Negro might justly and lawfully be reduced to slavery for his benefit. Right? Don't forget Negro means black. Oh, Mohr means black. No, it doesn't. No, it doesn't, liar. Ring the alarm. Already? Already? Alright. Well, Mohr means Moroccan. Mohr means Mauritanian. Mohr means high priest of Anu. Mohr means land. Mohr means water. Nowhere Mohr means black. Whoever told you that, they're a liar. Big liar. And then you're a big dummy for listening to him. Big dummy listening to them. Listening to liars. Hebrew Israelite, whoever. What are they going to be talking about? Black people, white people, and all this BS. Isn't that what they're going to do? Why are they going there? Why are they going into the black and white stuff if that they had no rights which the white man was bound to respect? These blacks had no rights. Zero. So why would you be black, knowing that you have no rights under that? Are you just dumb, or do you listen to a liar? Did you listen to a liar tell you that it's okay to call yourself these fictions when in 1857 judge came out in the Supreme Court and told these people that black is some BS, we're not respecting that. In the Supreme Court they said that to their face. And then they're still gonna go be blacks, which is Negro, which puts you under the inferior stuff that you keep complaining about under the disguise of racism and discrimination. And they're bothering me and Karens and all this BS. How about deal with the fact that you have no status? You have zero status. Zero. Because in the caste system, whites on the top, blacks on the bottom. That's just what it is. You want to play caste system games? Go right ahead. Go right ahead. Remember all the bombings of communities and all that stuff that happened in the 1900s and onward? You don't think that's happening because they're saying they're black, which means that they have no rights that the white man is bound to respect? You don't think that's why? Oh, blaming the education system or whatever, the white man did that or whatever, but then you weren't being communal and taking care of your own stuff like your ancestors did. It takes a village, doesn't it? Doesn't it take a village? Even back in the day, the drug dealer is gonna slap you at the back of the head and tell you go to school. Why you were on here? Why you were on us? Even though they were doing their BS. You still going with the black stuff? You can't see that you're putting yourself in it. The Supreme Court, don't they go with Supreme Court when it's time for everything else? To validate some position they have? They're going to go to Supreme Court, aren't they? All right, so if Supreme Court in 1857 is saying that the Negro should be reduced to slavery for his own benefit, you need to be enslaved for you, not because they need a slave to go do something. For you, because you're taking this uncivilized position. Because 1857, there were free people walking around. And they looked just like the slaves. And nobody was taking them and putting them on a tree and lynching them and bombing their community and telling them they can't do this and they can't do that. Nobody was doing that to them. How come? What's the difference between them? The guy getting lynched and all that stuff, people taking pictures, eating black guys' asses and all that. Eat their toe pickled ankles and all types of BS. All that. And then some other people are just walking by as if that has nothing to do with them. Oh yeah, because that has nothing to do with them. They're free people. What the hell do they care about what it's not a slave going on with a slave? Especially one who's just there. Big field, just you, one guy on a horse making rounds and all that stuff, and then you're just standing there picking. No, we couldn't do anything. We just had, stop it. Stop this foolishness. Now you have some of these Moors today, let the black guys, whoever today, and say, forget that. They go on the news. Hey, everybody, you gotta go out, start picking cotton. You think people are doing that? Modern Europeans and all that gonna be fighting. What you mean? Free people walking around, having no issues. Using the white fountain and all that. You're using the fountain that the dog's using. But you're saying you're a human being because you got your little torn shirt tucked in and your one leg high, one leg low pants and all that stuff, talking about you're getting out of slavery. You're not a slave. Yeah, right. And for those who choose that's your position, then hey, stay there. No problem. You can be a slave all you want. Just remember that the Supreme Court in 1857, Supreme Court, not the municipal court, not the family court, not the traffic court, not all that, those BS courts. The actual court that they say is the court, that's the one. If anything's going on, it should be in there. The Supreme. Supreme, if you don't, you should probably go look up Supreme. They had for more than a century before been regarded as beings of an inferior order. Talk about you, minorities, Indians and all them. All y'all, the inferior order ones. The ones that did the dummy treaties and now they're complaining about how people have jurisdiction to do whatever. And then they're going to blame the Moors as if the Moors did it when they're the ones who went and did dummy treaties with these colonists instead of holding them to the treaty, which is why they were over here. We want to play Pocahontas games and all that stuff. These people in the bushes eating berries and talking about the founders of civilization, nothing. The hell out of here, berry eater, whoever. Go back in the bushes if you're Indian and all that. Take all that stuff off you got and go kill fish to eat. And stop playing around. Inferior order. They had for more than a century before, these people been playing, it doesn't matter what you call ourselves, games. 100 years before this date, they've been playing games. Don't know who they are. They're a slave that came from somewhere. All these people know what's up. Everybody knows it's an absolute logistical nightmare to bring millions of people from Africa to here on ships. It's actually a very dumb idea. It's actually very dumb. When there's people here already that you could just use these people. Why are you going all the way over there? You came over here with nothing. See people here and then go over there to bring people back. Stop the foolishness. This is why Drew Ali made the reference that they're going to be trying every weak mind. They're going to be trying every weak mind to drag out the true foundation. The true foundation is the Moorish connection. That's the true foundation. There's nothing that can be done until that is solidified in the mind, heart, soul, chakras of whoever's making whatever claim. and altogether unfit to associate with the white race. And any idiot knows that people's skin complexion are not black and white. Even an idiot knows people's skin complexion is not black and white. So they can't be talking about skin complexion when they're talking this black and white stuff. And if they are talking about it and skin complexion, you're being played. Because clearly those don't match your skin complexion. Whichever one you pick, it's not going to match. I don't care what you say. In the caste system, whites on the top, blacks on the bottom. That's just what it is. You're playing black games. That's the colonial system. Because they want to be on top. Because it's not about skin complexion, it's about status. And the white status is the sovereign, the ruler of the land. Ruler of the land. So if you're a ruler of the land, that means indigenous, doesn't it? Well, no wonder Drew Ali could say that you're not black and all that. Because that's really saying that you're Negro, which is why you say you're not Negro. Oh, because those two things are also the both. Oh, and then colored too, and we didn't even go into colored yet. We didn't even touch colored. Just from this Supreme Court case alone, 1857, you should not want to be black or Negro. One, because this is the Supreme Court. So stop playing around, because you're gonna, if you're talking government and all that stuff, then you gotta go with Supreme Court too, because that's part of it. You can't pick and choose what you want to deal with now. You know? Yeah, you want to be Moors. All right, well, if you steal something, we gotta cut your hand off. Well, okay, well, maybe I don't want to be a Moor right now. I'll wait, opposed to changing self. How about stop damn stealing? So you don't have to worry about getting your hand cut off. And then you could live good. Ring the alarm. I made this up, huh? Message. If you're saying the Supreme Court is legit, then we have to go with this. We have to look at this as a people. We have to look at this and then start looking at ourselves. Okay, then we can't be the Negro stuff then. So that's 1857. That's 1857. Made their claim against whoever's playing the slave game. Whoever's playing slave game. Claim was made 1857. And then you now pick a side. Well, what are you claiming now? Because obviously they're claiming white. They're making their claim. Because remember, it's the colonial caste system. You're already into the New Deal and all that stuff. And remember, these colonists been here since 1492, when they did whatever to the Moors. Because when they came here, they saw Moors again, and then they just did the same thing that they did over there to over here. Find a sellout, and use them to get in. Easy, simple game. Our problem is that we always have somebody who has a weak heart that's going to sell out. That's our problem. We always have some traitor that's going to keep you in the darkness of who we are as a people, so they can keep getting whatever, benefit they're getting, whatever their lower self is looking for. They're going to be able to get it. There's always going to be a sellout. So they could claim white, big deal. All right, fine. That still doesn't make you sovereign over the nationals of the land. Claim all that white stuff all you want, but you better be honorable on that. Just like, if you're really gonna go all the way in, then go in. There's always those traitors that's trying to keep you in the black. Just remember, 1857, Supreme Court. The black Negro race is inferior to the white one. So why are you going to go claim to be black? If the Supreme Court said, why are you going to go claim to be black? You're not even making sense right now. Because you're going to go Supreme Court for every other reference point for your position. So if you're choosing to pick and choose what you want to use as precedent, then you might as well pack it up. Go right back, just like Drew Ali said, go back to the state where I found you. Instead of causing confusion. Instead of being out here causing confusion, right? Making up fake stuff for Moors. As if they're doing something positive and proper and good. Playing games. Why? Drew Ali told us what our flag is. Why are you going to go make a new Moorish flag? Why not just use the one that, you can't use it because it'll show you're a fraud. Because it's going to show that this is absolutely not in line with what's supposed to be going on. Us saying that we're Moors. First of all, you have a fake flag. Right? And giving stuff meanings and all this as if we need something other than our flag that Drew Ali brought back to us. That's 10,000 years old. You have to have an ego problem if you're going to bring a flag from yesterday. You're going to bring a flag from yesterday instead of repping for the 10,000-year-old flag? You don't see that these people are nuts? Just like you're going to go to the scholar from yesterday. You're not going to go to the master teacher who's been putting in work for 30, 40 years. You're going to listen to this guy. He just came yesterday. They're absolutely mad. Right, seminars. $5,000 for a seminar? You go on Canaanland Moors and get back to basics for free. Not for free. And they got back to basics. Right? So everybody knows already what's up. Because ain't nobody talking about back to basics ever. Before we were presenting back to basics. $5,000. $5,000. And then think about the ones who have cards and they're saying $3,000 or something. That, you know, when Moors say, how come there's no Moors where I'm at or whatever? Because they're dealing with these people. That's why. The reason why you can't find Moors where you're at is because they're in these games right here. These games. Right. Nation state flag from 2020. Flag just came yesterday. Yesterday. Having constitutions and all this. Right? Playing Roman venues. Playing Roman. And they want to be republics like the European. Right? Just be yourself. Didn't Drew Ali say be yourself? Is it that hard to just be yourself? Always trying to be some fiction. Even as Moors, being a fiction, making up stuff. How are you making up stuff? But this is why. This is why. Drew Ali told you. These are trying hours now, dear Moors, and every evil spirit is moving, and they are trying every weak mind to overthrow and drag out the true foundation that has been laid, and cause confusion in the minds of the ones that do believe. But if you have the true love of Allah and the spirit of your forefathers, you fear not what you hear or see, but would sacrifice the utmost of your very life to protect your movement and your profit. Watch your enemies, dear Moors. Your enemies are the ones that speak against your prophet and ridicule him to the very lowest, and the ones that speak against your divine and national principles of your temples. These are trying hours, and that was 1920s. So what do you think is going on now? Right. There's so much need for what Drew Ali presented now more than ever. But you already know where our people are at. They love to sleep. So you do your spiritual work then. You do your spiritual work. So this is divine and national. So you don't, you can keep it moving. It's divine when the nationals messed up. When the divine's messed up and all these demons are on you and stuff like that, you need to get national with them. Then you be national. We've been played by our own. And it was all to get us to not know about our nationality and our birthrights. That was brought back to us by Noble Drew Ali. Because they hid this truth, kept this truth away from the Asiatics of America, so that we can fall into the dead state that we've been in. And Noble Drew Ali came in the 20s and they assassinated him so that we stay asleep. There's traitors in this movement, but we don't care.
The reference points to our people that have been removed from them. You know yourself that most of our people don't have this information, and the so-called black leaders don't give it to them. And why are they attacking the Moors? Because we've been giving the people the information that they've been paid to hold back. And so they take us as enemies because we're exposing them as what exactly they are, COINTELPRO-operatives. And we don't have to say it. All we have to do is educate the people, and it becomes absolutely obvious. The reference points to our people that have been removed from them. You know yourself that most of our people don't have this information, and the so-called black leaders don't give it to them.
The so-called black leaders don't give them this information. The so-called Afrocentric conscious ETC leaders don't give them this information. They'll placate, they'll take pictures with Moors and all that. Right? They'll put Moors in their documentary and all that stuff, but they're not with this how they're supposed to be with it. They're playing games. Because it's too many coinkydinks for this not to be it. Just too much. Well, other than NAACP, none of these people are going past 1930. None of them. Whatever they're saying they're part of, their stuff is going back to 1930. None of them are talking about anything pre-1930. When there was things pre-1930 that, you know, should be given some consideration. Noble Drew Ali being the number one. You know,
And why are they attacking the Moors? Because we've been giving the people the information that they've been paid to hold back. And so they take us as enemies because we're exposing them as what exactly they are, COINTELPRO-operatives. And we don't have to say it. All we have to do is educate the people, and it becomes absolutely obvious.
When was that when the officers got killed? That was 1930.
Oh, no.
1930, right after Drew.
2829. Some of them got killed before, and they tried what they did. Now Green, who was the secretary. But what? Yeah, but let's because we got to lead up to that. Because without qualification, it would just cause distortion. Green was the secretary. When Noble Drew Ali, Treasury Secretary, etc. Now, he worked for a Yiddish man called Jew. You know, a lot of these Moors are trying to sell their movement out to those Yiddish who are claiming to be Jews and not Jews. Because we're Jews, you know that. We just don't just because he didn't do that. That's our degree.
we don't use it because he's using it. But that's ours. Just like Moroccan, we don't use it because he's using it. We're Moorish American. We're Moors. You'd have to say we're Moroccan. To stress the point. We know the Moorish Jews. Because Yehudi. There's no J. So stop the games. But fine. They want to use it, no problem. We're Moors.
There were controversies there. Money was disappearing. Raleigh took a trip to Chicago. Come back, his purse was out the street. Money's missing. They was trying to steal. There was millions and millions and millions, compound millions of dollars in the Moorish movement. And Raleigh was building this for the people. They were trying to squander the money. He said, this belongs to the people. You will not squander this. They did everything they could to get him out of his own movement. Not some farmers, people with turbans and feathers in this movement. Drew Ali wrote a letter from prison.
When was that when the officers got killed? And that was 1930.
Oh, no.
1930, right after Drew Ali.
2829. Some of them got killed before, and they tried what they did. Now Green, who was the secretary. But what? Yeah, but let's because we got to lead up to that. Because without qualification, it would just cause distortion. Green was the secretary. When it was Raleigh, Treasury Secretary. That's it. Now, he worked for a Yiddish man called Jew. You know, a lot of these Moors are trying to sell the movement out to those Yiddish who are claiming to be Jews and not Jews. No, we're Jews. You know that. We just don't use because he didn't do that. That's our degree. There were controversies there. Money was disappearing. Raleigh took a trip to Chicago. Come back, his purse was out the street. Money's missing. They was trying to steal. There was millions and millions and millions, compound millions of dollars in the Moorish movement. And Raleigh was building this for the people. They were trying to squander the money. He said, this belongs to the people. You will not squander this. They did everything they could to get him out of his own movement. Not some farmers, people with turbans and feathers in this movement. Drew Ali wrote a letter.
And then that's the letters to be read every meeting. The letters to be read every meeting are those letters where he was writing to all the Moors what's supposed to be going down and warning the Moors of the treason within the movement. Right. Praise Allah to the Moor who allowed us to still have the letters so we could really know the treason that was going on during his time and the importance of us having this today. And staying true to the principles and staying true to everything Moorish that has to do with us knowing the truth about our nationality and our birthrights and our divine creed. Honors to all the Moors. All the Moors in the chat. Supreme love. All the Moors worldwide. Islam. Islam. Honors to Noble Drew Ali, our prophet. Oh, and don't forget, for the Moors near DC, The Moors looking to be on the move. March 20th to 21st. The Moors are doing the Moorish meetup. riseofthemoors.org. Moorish meetups are amazing. You know, if you get an opportunity to be around some Moors, some sincere Moors, some honorable Moors.
Man,
Great
what
time.
the fuck is your fucking problem? Are you blind, deaf, or are you just fucking Amish? Did they teach you how to drive?
so sorry,
You're
bro.
lucky I didn't beat the shit out of you and that troglodyte of an ugly bitch back there. What the fuck?
Wait a minute, did he say troglodyte? Adding troglodyte to the arsenal.
Man, what the fuck is your fucking problem? Are you blind, deaf, or are you just fucking Amish? Did they teach you how to drive?
so sorry,
You're
bro.
lucky I didn't beat the shit out of you and that troglodyte of an ugly bitch back there.
You think the movie Gangs of New York is just about some white beef from the Five Points? No. It is showing you an occupation in real time. Long before those boats ever arrived, the Lenape, the Choctaw, the Chickasaw, the Cherokee, the Seminole, the Mohawk, the Narragansett, and the Washita, who were the original Moorish.
Well, hold on a second. That's M-U-U-R, right? I thought that's supposed to be Moorish. I thought that's Moorish. How come AI didn't say Moorish? How come it said Moorish? Just like everybody else always been saying, people playing games. There's the M-U-U-Rs right there. Because what did they do? They brought up all the tribal whoever's, right? The tribe of the this, the tribe of the that, the tribe of the this, the tribe of the that. All right. They brought up all the tribes. How come they didn't say Moorish like these idiots today? Because they say a U, now they're saying it's not more? No, because you say a U, it's not more. It's Moor now. Sounding like a big dummy. Forcing yourself to say some BS. When everybody knows it's Moorish. And then stop the crap about it. We put the ish on it because the ish, stop the BS. It's Moorish. There's no separation. There's no hyphen there separating no more from ish. Stop the dumb stuff. Moors. Moorish tribes. Because it's spelled different, meaning you're talking about some different people. No, it's the same damn people. Even the damn AI that you're going to make the videos and all that is going to pronounce it properly. And your dumbass is over here talking about it's different. Liars. Trying to tie that to moo and all that stuff. That's how you get the Moorish. No, it's not. Liars. No, it's not. You're a liar. That's out here trying to cause confusion. Nword that came in 1920s told us Moorish. Now all of a sudden you're putting U's in there and all that and making up new stuff. Causing confusion. I want to know how come our people can't figure this stuff out. Because your own. Keep telling you it's your own. Looking around at some white man, he's interested in you or something. He already has his program. He already owns all the stuff, has all the feeding, whatever like that. He's good. White man's good. White man ain't worried about no Negroes. White man's gone about doing his business. And then the Jew, they made up a fake nation. And then they went and then they did their business. And then the LGBT whoever, they made up a fake flag. And then they made up a fake nation. And now they're over there. And then the dummies who, they're Moors. And there's a Moorish empire just sitting there for them to use. And once they start using it, then everybody else is going to have to go back home because you can't take up all our resources. But no, they don't want to do that. They want to be Negro, black, colored, African, Indian, and all the other stuff and play games. When even AI knows that it's Moorish. All those tribes are Moorish. If AI is telling you all those tribes are Moorish, you're going to listen to AI with everything else. You're going to listen. You're going to hear what AI is saying when AI tells you about they found some hidden whatever and all that. You're going to listen to that? Okay, so how come you don't listen to AI telling you right now? All the tribes are Moorish. I don't care what tribe you're picking. That's Moorish. So we're going to say that we're Moors now so we can start doing some stuff, get some stuff done? Or we're going to still play the game on, nah, we're not ready yet. We'll just chill over here. And keep playing this, hope we get some rights games. Eventually, soon, well, you have to struggle to get to. I'm seeing foreigners get off a plane at the airport getting jackets, getting escort on bus to a hotel. People are homeless under their nose. Under their nose, people are homeless. This is the jurisdiction out here. Right? Foreigners who are on some UN whatever because somebody's doing something to them and they need help and all that stuff. Guess where they're sending them to? Because all the ones here who are supposed to be saying they're the indigenous people and all that stuff, they're playing Negro, black, colored, West Indian games. Not Indian, the West Indian now. The West Indian. The West. Playing all those games. But you go check all of them. The Moors touch there some way, somehow. Whether culture, whether it's a food, whether it's some seasoning that they're using, whether whatever, the Moors touched all of it. Because we already know how we are when we get together. It's a party. Like, it's not beef when we get together. That's new stuff. When we get together, sit down and build and have a good time. We're not those type of people. All right? Juali was right with love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice, because all we do is love. All we do is show love, our people. All right? All we do. And it gets down to it. We're missing key elements. And the key thing lacking is not having a nationality. And it being known. AI knows that all the tribes are Moors. So why is it that the people are straying away from this? Either it's some sorcery, or they've been listening to people who they shouldn't have been listening to, who've been lying to them this whole time.
Niggerkuss, Schwarzer.
Niggerkuss? Wait, hold up.
Niggerkuss. Yeah.
That's a whole nother one. Niggerkuss.
Yep.
What is that?
I don't. But
Is it the same? No, it's a
Kuss is kiss.
Oh, kiss.
Is it
Niggerkuss.
It's a kiss.
Kiss.
Nigger kiss.
And it's funny. You can Google this. Niggerkuss was until recently, very recently, was a dessert in Germany. It is like a donut that's covered with chocolate.
Niggerkuss.
And they called it Niggerkuss. And you got to Google this right now.
Oh,
Niggerkuss. Negerkuss. And the crazy thing is, on the packaging was a face
of a black face
with the big lips and the
pickaninny.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
Niggerkuss.
That was like
show us this, boy.
until like 5-10 years ago.
And they just got rid of it.
See? Oh.
Yeah, that's it. And get the packaging. Look at the packaging.
Oh, yo, order some.
Oh. When did they stop making that?
Just a
I don't
couple
know.
years ago.
A couple years ago.
But, that was early 1900s America, where, the cream of wheat guy is still holding the bowl.
Mm-hmm.
There's a black dude on cream of wheat still. They have not let him off work.
Yeah, because who's the founder of food? Who else you gonna have on there? Some caveman? You gonna have a troglodyte up there? Talking about cream of wheat? It had to be a Mohr to know how to make cream from wheat. Had to be a Mohr. So you can get your iron and your calcium. So he was a Mohr scientist. You know it's Mohr science. Of course it had to be a Mohr. That's not racist. The Mohr is the man, of course. Who is the founders of food? Our people. It's not going to be some modern European. If there's no him, there's no cream of wheat.
He in the original cream of wheat box, there's the one now is just a black dude. The old one was a little white girl waiting to be served. And he's smiling. Okay. Oh man, they used to have pickaninnies and black.
Because they wanted us to take care of their children. Because they were dumb. Why would they take care of their own children? They're cavemen. Why wouldn't they put their children in the hands of the founders of civilizations and let them bring them up? The European baby on the slave mother's breast and all that stuff. You think it's because of racist? She don't got nothing to feed her children after she gets pregnant. She don't got anything. All that powdered milk and all that stuff is their stuff. That's not our people's stuff. We need powdered milk for moms right there. What are you talking about? You see the little calf getting powdered cow milk? Maybe nowadays, because it's not even cows now. Maybe nowadays, it's not even cows. Wild.
And in different countries. And then like in
telling you
in Amsterdam.
Branding is
everything. And the kids were conscious enough to know that this was a mockery, because that's why they would say niggerkoos.
Yeah.
Like
grab my hair, and rub my skin.
Son.
Yeah. And even I was playing, I was a great athlete back then, and I was playing everything, soccer, basketball, tennis, and soccer tournaments, they would have the what is it called, the commentators, right?
No,
they would announce me with negakus.
No,
boys on the negakus, and they thought they thought it was funny.
This is we thinking we lying about this stuff.
No.
What's funny is Germans
also they would call me like Schwarzer Blitz and so, like
Schwarzer Blitz. Blitz is like
black flash, like because I was fast.
Like
so they would try to make up names,
Blitzkrieg. It comes from Blitzkrieg.
Yeah.
154. We all connected, baby. You already know. I'm talking.
How come you didn't connect? How come they didn't connect that there's Murin in Germany? Not just nigger, not just N-E-G-E-R. That's not the only identification they have for our people in Germany. They also have Murin. M-O-H-R. That's Mohr too, in case nobody told you. So if they have more that they're using to identify, and then they have NEGER that they're using to identify, well, that means this is two different statuses of people. Same thing that we're looking at today, telling our people that they're not black, we're Moors. There's two different statuses of these dark-skinned people. There's some of them who are the NEGER, or the NIGGER, or NIGGA, and hard R, and whatever. And then there's the Mohr, M-O-H-R, M-A-U-R, M-U-U-R, M-U-R, M-O-R-E, M-O-R, M-O-O-R-E, E-T-C. Germany, same place they're talking about. That, well, they're racist because they don't like them. Oh, yeah? Interesting. Let's see how racist. Let's see how racist. Since the late 14th century, Saint Maurice, the patron saint of Coburg, has served as a symbol of the city. He is featured in the city's crest in the form of a Moor's head, and statues of him can be found throughout the city. Around the 17th century, there was a significant shift in the depictions of the saint, as he morphed from an armored knight to a noble savage. Elements of latter continue to feature in the city crest, which has otherwise remained consistent over the centuries. Jewelry, especially a golden earring, which conformed to stereotypical depictions of Africans as uncivilized, seems only to have been added in the 19th century, but continues to feature today. Bonsara, Coburg, Mohr, Ziergitter. The Moor's head was last updated in 1974 in a return of the design from the pre-Nazi period, Wappen der Stadt Coburg. Murin Apotheker. Mohr, M-O-H-R. M-O-H-R, not N-E-G-E-R. I look like a Negro to you? You're a Negro dressed like that? No, you don't. So there's two things going on. There's the status of the Mohr, and then there's the status of the NEGER. They're never Morin, M-O-H-R, Mohr. How come they didn't call him NEGER? He's black, isn't he? Isn't he black? He's actually black. How come they didn't call him NEGER? Because that's what Nedger is black, Negro. If he's actually black and they call him Mohr, then these people calling themselves black, they're nuts. Because the blackest guy is a Mohr. The blackest one is a Mohr. So why don't we just say that we're Moors then? No, doesn't seem that hard. Doesn't seem that hard at all. All we gotta do is say that we're Moors. Hotel Dre Morin, Augsburg. Mohr, Mohr. Why not N-E-G-E-R? Why not Nword? Well, how come they don't call these people N-word? Because they don't look like a damn N-word. That looks like an N-word to you? That looks like somebody's pants on the ground and all that? Yeah, the bow and arrow and the feathers and all that, and they're still called Mohr. If they have the bow and arrow and the feathers and all that stuff, then wouldn't that... I thought the feathers was some Indian stuff. How come this isn't called Indian? Hotel the Indian. Germans are Europeans, aren't they? Thought they said Mohr means black. So every time we read about Mohr, you keep saying Mohr means black. Well, Mohr doesn't look like it means black in German. Because these aren't black guys. Right? You think Ghostface had the falcon and all that stuff because he didn't know about the Moors? You know exactly what's up. Somebody was studying. Morin House. This guy's definitely a black guy. If he's actually a black guy, then how come this isn't called N-E-G-E-R? Shouldn't they call this N-E-G-E-R? Because he's actually black too. He's highly melanated. He's carbon. He's a carbon-based being. Stop the BS. He's a Mohr. It's right there. On the building. On the building. In Germany. The whole different language. They still say that we're Moors. That's not a brother? That's a brother, right? Okay, so if that's a brother, and then the Germans know that he's Mohr, because they could say that he's N-E-G-E-R. They could say that, but they didn't. How come they didn't? Why is there a difference? How come you go research N-E-G-E-R stores in Germany? Go research N-E-G-E-R statues. N-E-G-E-R fountains. N-E-G-E-R hotels. N-E-G-E-R beer. N-E-G-E-R. Just go research and see if you find anything. N-E-G-E-R. But more, you're playing around. It's okay. You're gonna play. You know, this is, like we said the other day, this is Malkuth. So you're gonna learn. You can play whatever games you want to play. And oh yeah, happy Moorish History Month. Because you know we could just beat you in the head with it right now because we can. We can, just because we can. How come it's not N-E-G-E-R beer? N-word? Where's your beer at? Because everything that I've researched having to do with these dark-skinned people goes back to the Moors. No ifs, ands, or buts about it. No getting around it. No going under. No, you can't. So when you don't want it, it's either sorcery or you need to stop listening to these people who's been playing you. Racist image in Coburg divides small German town. 2020. It was right before the pandemic. Right before the pandemic. All this stuff is going down right before the pandemic. Tensions are running high in a debate over the coat of arms in the northern Bavarian town of Coburg. Two women in faraway Berlin have launched a campaign saying it is a racist image with no place in today's world. Trying to get rid of the Moors. This is racist, they said. The NEGERs. Right? Because you know some NEGERs that are going around trying to say take those down when that's not even them. So it says Morin right there. Like, well, why are Morins concerned with how, why are NEGERs concerned with how Morins are being depicted? That's not them. Like, what do you mean that's racist? Those are Moors. Right? That's not blackface or whatever. Those are Moors. Those aren't black guys. There's the bedwench. The NEGER bedwench that's trying to talk about this is negative. This is negative. Talking crazy. Archdiocese. The crowned head as a symbol for the diocese appears for the first time on the seals of Bishop Emicho in 1285 in a small shield at the base of his seal. As colors are not known, it is unclear whether it is really a Moor head. The Moor is often identified as the patron saint, Saint Corbinian. However, he was not black, and an old image of the saint used by the bishops showed him facing not en profile. No. You're going to say all these are wrong? So all these seals that have us on them, this isn't really us. Yeah, right. It's Moringen. M-O-H-R. Moringen. Little red lips. You think that's blackface? That's not blackface. Huh? That's not blackface. MOHR is not NEGER. They're different. Not the same. That's where the confusion lies. The Grumback Mohr. Wolfskiel Mohr. The Wolfskiel Mohr. And you know it's the Mohr because they have the earring, or they're going to have the jewelry, or they're going to have something that's going to make you say, wow, why the black guy, why a slave have that? He's not a slave. Coat of arms. Log engine. Many legends surround the Mohr and the city's coat of arms. It probably came about in the same way as Pappenheim and Coburg, for example, acquired the same heraldic image. The oldest seal is first found on a document in the city archives from the year 1270. It depicts a man's head with long hair, a beard, and a crown. This is probably the head of Hohenstaufen Emperor Frederick I. A new form of the head appears on a document from the year 1440. He is depicted on a shield, beardless, and arched crown having become a leaf crown. A little later, we find a similar head with a pearl necklace on the seal. In 1451, the head turns right into profile and shows a Moor's head with a necklace, earring, and mural crown. In 1560, the goldsmith Hans Gerug, son of Lottingen painter Mathis Gerung, created a seal for the city featuring a Mohr. Necklace, earring, and leaf crown. The pattern from the seal to city coat of arms is not far. We can therefore give the answer: the Mohr is a royal head that was misunderstood in the 16th century. It owes its origin to heraldic and historical error, which can probably be explained by the understanding of the humanist age. Murin, Brunn. Casper the Mohr. Still there. This is not a NEGER. NEGER and him are not the same. The Mohr has a fountain statue. The fountain statue located on Fraudenplatz depicts the Moorish King Casper. The column dates back to 1520. King Casper. So don't be fooled. Don't be fooled. They've been lying to you. All these people know that we're Moors. And they're gonna keep playing whatever game it is that they're playing as long as you let them.
Do you love your husband? I bet you it's not as much as Olga of Kiev. This picture was taken from an ancient Orthodox church in Romania. The person that's being depicted is Princess Olga. Now look at her skin color. Her skin color is very, very dark. Not only was she black, but her grandson was also black. His name was Vladimir. And look at the depiction of Christ and Mary. They are both black as well. Now let's look at her husband, Igor. He was black as well. And just to put the icing on the cake, these are the apostles of Russia with Princess Olga. They were all black. Not only were they black, but they also were ethnically Jews. This is my first source, Russia and the Negro. And I quote, she noted that the Tsarist officials frequently listed Negroes as Arabs and Jews. Olga, Igor, and a lot of other black families in Russia, Ukraine were black Jews. This is my next source, The Horizon History of Russia. Now look at this ancient manuscript. Look at all of these black women now sitting on the throne in all of her blackness. Princess Olga. Let's read below. In the 11th century Byzantine manuscript, Princess Olga of Kiev, widow of Igor, is pictured at the empress court in Constantinople, where she is royally welcomed about 955 as Russia's first Christian ruler. So black people brought the version of the Council of Nicaea form of Christianity to Russia. Let's read on. As the story is told in the Russian chronicles, Olga received a proposal of marriage from the Byzantine emperor, which she denied, and with his gifts of gold, silver, silk, and varnished vases, returned to Kiev. So I'm going to give you a quick summary of what happened. It's the year 945, and Prince Igor is ruling over Kiev and Rus. To his west was the Dravians, and they hated the people of Kiev and Rus. And after the passing of Igor's father, the Dravians didn't respect Igor, so they stopped paying tribute. And after 33 years, Igor headed to the capital city of Dravians with his army to collect tribute. Here, the Dravians would unalive Igor. The Dravian king, Prince Mao, wanted to expand his empire, so he sent men to Princess Olga to explain to her and propose for him what happened to her husband. Black women, how much do you love your husband? I bet you it's not as much as Olga of Kiev. This picture was taken from an ancient Orthodox church in Romania. The person that's being depicted is Princess Olga. Now look at her skin color. Her skin color is very, very dark. Not only was she black.
Happy holy day to all the Moors worldwide. Happy holy day to all the Moors. Honors to all the Moors worldwide. Honors to Noble Drew Ali. Honors to all who know that we're Moors. Oh yeah, and happy Moorish History Month. So you already know. Throw everything at them and the kitchen sink just because, we're supposed to know who we are. We only got 28 days, so you should be going off. This is all you got. So let's see. Let's see what's going on, because a lot of people talk this black stuff, and then when I go check, I'm not seeing any black anything. So I don't know what's going on. Moses the Mohr. In Russian iconography, he is called Moisey Murin. Murin is the Slavic equivalent of Mohr, and in English, to call someone a Mohr originally meant they were dark-skinned like Othello the Moor of Venice, in Shakespeare's play. So right away, we know this saint is identified, oddly enough, by his skin color. Dark, right? You heard him say dark? And then after dark, he starts saying black the whole time? Trying to use dark to qualify the blackness, which is BS. It's BS. Justifying it as a position to take. There's no black position to take. The Russian iconography call dark-skinned people Murin. M-U-R-I-N. Murin. M-U's Mohr, right? Isn't that what they say? That's the Moors. Those are the Moors that the O.O. Moors came and they destroyed the M.U. Moors. This is them, isn't that the Moors? How come the M-U-U-R, whoever people aren't claiming all this Russian stuff that's Moorish, since they're so M-U-R Moors? You ever hear them talk about this? All they talk about is this running through the bushes, North American native BS. How come they don't go over there and claim some of that Moor stuff? Because they're full of BS, that's why. You play whatever games that they want to play. What does it mean to be black in Russia? Big dummies. Russians have watched shootings of and by police in the U.S. Most recently, Baton Rouge outside St. Paul and Dallas, with a mix of reactions. Moscow reporter Charles Manus says Russians are generally supportive of the victims of shootings, law enforcement and civilians. However, in many cases, the Russian government is fostering a different reaction. I think there is this sense of their own problems, and to distract from them, the Russian government tends to celebrate some of America's problems. Russia has a racism and violence problem of its own, though the schism in Russia is different. People from the Caucasus are called blacks as a derogatory term, even though many of them don't have dark skin. Even though many of the Caucasus people don't have dark skin, they're called black. So now you have a conflict of interest, right? Because both of you can't be saying that you're black unless black has to do with status, not skin complexion. So anytime you hear or read black and you start thinking about complexion, you're wrong. It's a status. And there are Russians who are blacks. Remember, the Russians are there. And then the blacks are some separate whoever's. They're over there complaining. Similar to certain people over here that claim that they're black. Oddly enough. Dostoevsky and the Christian Tradition by George Patterson, Diane Thompson. The word Murin, M-U-R-I-N, means a black person, a Mohr, or an Ethiop, i.e. an Ethiop in the archaic sense of a Negro, which in earlier Russian was often used as a synonym for the devil. Yuri Marmelov offers an interesting interpretation of the image of Murin, in whom he finds many features of the prophet Elijah: epilepsy, a blazing stare, a knife, thunder, the ability to foretell people's destiny, as well as the surname Murin, which Marmeladov associates with the name of a 4th century saint, Moses Murin. Murin. And as soon as you start hearing about Katerina and Marmelov and all that stuff, you already know that's Russian. Stop the crap. African American Writing, a Literary Approach by Werner Sollers, Sollors. Hughes was among the leftist African Americans who went to Spain during the Civil War, and in his reports for the Afro-American, even war-torn Spain became a meeting ground for black people. In Spain, Hughes felt there is no color prejudice. After the Battle of Brunet in July 1937, he visited wounded persons in Madrid hospital, but he wrote, "I was most interested in the Moors, who were my own color." Talking with a 13-year-old Moroccan boy whose mother has been killed, Hughes learns that Franco had brought Moorish women and men in to support the troops. Thus the Moors die in Spain, men, women, and children, victims of fascism, fighting against freedom under a banner that holds only terror and segregation for all the darker people of the earth. That was Langston Hughes. It's rather obvious. There's no NEGERs over there. Early black Russians. Who were they? When we think of African diaspora, black Russians, the Arabs, ARAPS, of the East, remain largely non-existent to us in the West. They don't exist. In this, the third segment of our quote-unquote Black History Month Black Russian series, we look at the early Africans unilaterally then regarded as Moors, even though they were all black Africans, not Arabs. Then Arabs are talking about the pale people who are Arabic speaking, because Arabs are dark-skinned people. There are no pale Arabs. There's pale Arabic-speaking people, but there are no pale Arabs. It's like there's no pale Native Americans. There's no pale one of those. All those are the same misclassified people who of everybody, they're the ones that have the most names. Everybody else might have one or two. These people, 50, 500, all types of stuff they call themselves. We showed you before. We're talking about Russia. And it's Murin. We're going to Germany. It's Mohr. All these places that everybody thinks this is some European thing or whatever like that. Wherever they get that idea from, I don't know, because clearly the people don't study. You see that our people ruled everywhere. There isn't somewhere that our people didn't rule. And in all these histories, the last people who were there were these people, the Moors. The last people who left everything for them that they have right now that they're happy for and all that stuff is because of the Moors. It's not because of black guys. Rybinski, Russia. Moorish castle. Why? All over the place. Sevastyanov, Russia. There's not a black building. This is not a NEGER building. There's no black iconography of Russia. Does not exist. Does not exist. It's all of it is Moorish. All of it. Go debate your grandma why she ate pig feet and all that. Don't talk to Moors. Russian Federation Government Reception House, Moscow. There are Moorish things there. Because they don't know what's up. And it's not NEGER. Like Schwarzenegger. It's not NEGER. They're going with Morin. The only people who don't know is our people over here playing the games. Our people here. Arseny Morostov's mansion. The same reception house from earlier. The same spot. Now, why are some Russians gonna have Moorish architecture buildings? Why are they doing that? And just go check. All over. So when we talk about Drawley saying that we're Moorish, and then we look up Moorish and it's saying pertaining to the Moors. All this stuff is what Drawley's tying you to. just by saying Moorish. Because remember, nobody's talking about this from the Moorish. They're talking about this from the black perspective. And they still don't claim it. They're still playing third person with it as if because they're saying it's black, that's not them. You just said it's black. You're black, aren't you? Yeah, so why are you talking in the third person? Why are you talking in the first person? Oh, because they're over there, and we're over here, as if it's not the same people. And again, the common thread through all these cultures is this Moorish renaissance. Stuff just pops up and it's Moorish. And they definitely know. Like no, super no. And it's our people in the dark. We're staying in the darkness, loving the darkness instead of the marvelous light. Loving the darkness. That's not a black guy. That's a Mohr. That's not a black guy. How's the slave dressed better than all these other people? Slaves dressed better than them? Really? And so you have it twisted. They're trying to put you in that position. Why would the slave be dressed better than everybody else? What are you talking about? How you already know you see fezzes and all that stuff. Those are Moors. Stop the BS. You already know that. So they say, well, that's Russia. So that does. What do you mean? That doesn't mean what? It's fezzes. Fezzes are Moorish. Isn't that how y'all talk? Didn't y'all say it's the Moors when they showed you the Congo and all that stuff, cutting off people's hands with the guys with the fezzes? You said those are Moors, didn't you? With no question. All right. So here again, there's a fez. So this is a Mohr. Fez mean Moors. Huh? Painting of Emperor's Palace with an Arab serving. Right? So this is a slave. The slave with the big chalice serving. That's the black guy? All right. That's a Negro. Right. They looked at the young Negro as if he was a miracle. Surrounded him, showering him with greetings and questions. But this kind of curiosity annoyed his self-esteem. He felt like some kind of rare animal, wrote Alexander Pushkin, the famous 19th century poet, in his historical novel, The Mohr of Peter the Great. which described the life of an African man, Ibrahim, at the Tsar's court. Not the Neger, not the Neger of Peter the Great. How come? Not the Africanopes, not the Ethiops. No, Mohr. That's Alexander Pushkin. Why is this stuff called the Mohr of Peter the Great? Right. Pushkin had personal reasons to write this novel. Ibrahim was a historical figure, a slave from Africa who later thrived in Russia, became a nobleman, and helped establish a dynasty. What kind of slaves are these? What kind of slaves are these right here? You tell me this is a slave right now? Why are you going to be mad about slavery if you're going to be a slave and then thrive, become a nobleman, and establish a dynasty? What, if that's after slavery, then what the hell, what are you complaining about? You know? Or somebody play you into some slavery BS. When we're establishing a dynasty, as if you're part of it. That's inheritance. And that Ibrahim, that was Pushkin's great-grandfather. Young Abram Hannibal. Young Abram Hannibal. This is a slave. This is a black guy. This is a Negro. You can't convince me that this is a Negro. You could try, but it's not happening. Obviously, this is a Mohr. Obviously. The Mohr. Peter the Great portrait with black valet. Slavery's not that bad if you get to live like that. Why are you mad? Why are you mad at slavery? Interesting. It's rather convenient. Now, why is an Arab from Cape Verde who settled in Russia? That's a black guy? He's African? No. That looks like dude down the hall. You know that's our people. Even in black and white. Turbaned up, fezzed up. So when us saying that we're Moorish today, is tying us to all this history sitting there that's ours that we haven't claimed. Because we want to play Negro games, black crap, and not have a nationality, and join the civilized human beings so we could bring this thing back in balance. Everybody's waiting for us. If you didn't notice, what are we not good at? Didn't a sister just win the damn ice skating, the speed skating race, and then the Jamaicans winning the ice stuff? Like what's going on here? You don't think the gig's up? You don't think so? We're the founders of everything. But once we do it as the black, or do it as under the whatever jurisdiction that we're flying some whatever for, they're giving it right back to the colonists. Right back. We're not Negro black colored. We're not Negro black colored. We're Moors. Moors. He was on point. Knew exactly what he was doing when he told us that we're not Negro, black, or colored. We're descendants of Moroccans born in America. And we have a nationality and birthrights. Because we're part of the Moorish Empire, which is ancient, and everybody knows. So we have our flag, the red flag with the green 5-point star in the center. So no one could say they don't know. Because everybody knows that's the flag of Morocco. And everybody knows Morocco's the empire. Happy holy day to all the Moors. Honors to all who know thyself. Supreme honors. Honors to Prophet Noble Drew Ali. Love and peace to all the Moors in the chat. Supreme honors to Noble Drew Ali. Happy holy day, Moors.
Has the amity and commerce battle and the Moroccan flag on the nationality.
Parcel? Yeah, parcel.
Well, that's part of it. But the real deal is the United States Republic, as it were, as a, what you call, an English colony, is really have been acting as a protector of the Moroccan Empire while we're asleep. And while we have been in what we call the subjugated state. Now, some people, for lack of knowledge, have been calling this the American flag. Americas are continents, North, Central, South, and Americana, the Atlantic Islands, that we call them Caribbeans. This is the Amity and Commerce flag.
What's the matter?
It's important to understand that so you can understand the political relationship and why certain things were done past tense and why certain things are done now. So the United States Republic, in its original form, distinguished from the U.S. Democracy Corporation, which it is not, is the protectorate of the Moorish nation, particularly while they sleep. Now, 1954, President Eisenhower suspended consular courts. And consular courts was the proper venue by which they were to be dealing with us whenever there was an issue. Now, this protective role in politics is the status of what the United States Republic true relationship in government actually is. And if you look at them different than that, then your concepts about their legal role will be incorrect. They are a private corporation dealing with an estate. They themselves are not the land, not to be confused with the land. This is the land. This is the nation. The nation fell, but still exists. It's under occupation, but it's an agreement. And so you have 7 red stripes, 6 white stripes. The 7 red stripes represent the 7 ruling planets in this universe, also the law of the Moors, which is Elam, Alain, Allah, which is the 7 ruling planets. The 6 stripes represent European nations who are company guilds, who are given permission to do business in the North Gate territories, which is also referred to in their societies as the North Gate. So therefore the potentates who would rule here would be considered as trustees or keepers of the North Gate. This is where you get that phrase in secret societies when they talk about their keepers of the North Gate. All right? Which is why all of your creators or presidents must be Masons, and we're at a Fed secretly. Are we clear? Now I'm painting a picture for you because I want you to understand the dynamics of the corruption of the trusteeship, so that you can understand why certain actions you take as far as when you're dealing with these corporate entities and you're doing writs and you're making claims of your right of your estate. And when you make claims of right of your estate, why it's creating problems for them, and also why they're blocking certain things now, because they've gotten used to having control of this vast estate, and they have not been answering to the trust. As a matter of fact, they've been abusing us instead. By the people not knowing the true relationship here, they've been calling it racism, which it is not. Racism is decent. You're under occupation by foreign Europeans to steal your birthright, which is why they call themselves Americans. They're not Americans, they're Europeans. Their only justice of being here is by virtue of that Constitution and the treaty, and the ordinance of 1787 by which they agreed to a Republican form of government in harmony with Moorish law. And whenever there's a controversy between us, consular court is the venue, Article 3, consular court. That creates what is called diversity.
So are the consular courts still existing?
President Eisenhower closed the consular courts in 1954, and in 1956, the Europeans released the protectorship on the kingdom, but not on the empire.
That's why you don't need a passport to go.
Yeah. And that's why whenever you see any serious U.S. law, it'll always say underneath it, Morocco.
Yeah.
You understand? If you look at any serious United States law, you always see beneath it, Morocco.
Yeah.
And this is why, like you see, Europeans, like in George Washington's Masonic Lodge, etc., wearing the feathers with Morocco, Muslim, Islam, Elam Bey, because we are the nobles of the North Gate. We're just below the throne. And of course, all the race game that they play with their Negro leaders who are overseers is to keep us in blackness so that we cannot claim our state. Then they get a kickback with a 501c3. That's why Skull and Bones member President Johnson established that with the churches. Although the churches and the state are one, you had a lot of so-called Negroid overseer churches that were emotional. And even though most of them are Masons and deny it, the 501c3 comes from the Jesuits. And that's for all the preachers to agree not to speak tenuously or negatively against any political ideologies or actions coming from the government that are immoral and unlawful. You understand? So that's the pact between Negro preachers and the Jesuits. And so that's a tax exempt status. But understand this, it's very important to understand this. True religious order and organizations and mission societies have no tax status, period. There's nothing to sign, there's no obligation, it does not exist. And the reason why you see what you call church orders, etc., getting a 501c3 is because they're really not taking religion. They're using mind control. Therefore, they are a product of the state. Thus, they must be regulated. That's for you to know. This is why you see all your big preachers like Martin Luther King and Reverend Gray, and all them guys, and what's the other brother that had, they all going, but they got that big church on Broad Street.
Yeah.
Sullivan, all Masons. Jesse Jackson, Sharpton, all the Masons. So they got one foot in the church, one in back of the White House. But they must know the truth, if you understand what I'm saying. So they get a 501c3. While they know the truth, they take an oath not to reveal the truth because the church will collapse. Because people find out it belongs to Constantine and not to Yeshua, who they call Jesus, which is a password.
Right.
All right? Huh?
Yeshua.
Yeah.
Why are we giving them money? When you give them money, why are they making us give them receipts in these churches now?
Because those receipts, now, with 501c3, understand, you know, like when the Queen, due to the Treaty of Rome 1213, has to make what you call payments to the Jesuits. And because the U.S., you understand, is a British colony. It's registered in England.
Right.
All right? But they have a whole nation of people who are not called by their fathers' names. They have their estate. Are you clear? When they get those receipts, they, you know, like you do, say, yearly, after the equinox, then the Queen has to pay the Jesuits, which is why you must pay them by April the 15th. You understand what I'm saying to you? So, the corporations and those preachers and others take those receipts at any time. You know, like the people who don't know would deal with them on April 14th. I mean, before April 15th. They deal all the way through the year. And those receipts, they get compensated again for those receipts. Those receipts are checks.
June 30th and September 30th.
Those receipts are checks.
Yeah. All churches.
Everything and anything you sign is another check. This is what they know that they're not going to teach the masses. You understand? But you being Moorish American are let in on the inside. That's why you always say, I pulled the cover off all secret organizations. They're living off your virtues. Our problem is that we refuse to honor our mothers and fathers. Therefore, everybody sucks on us. You know, we like a taffy with no wrapper. Everybody walks past. Oh, they're racist. I used to have a whole arm now it's like this. And we really don't understand politics and we don't understand the real world. And we have to learn what's really going on. And so keys are given to you so that you can see things that are done right in your face. But if you don't know, you think it's something else. This is what gives other people advantages over us, even when they come from other countries. Because they're not subjected to that dogma. See, our people think they got religion, they get dogma. Just like our people think they have money, they get fiat.
I talk to poor people from other countries. Once I tell them who I am, different things.
Their attitude with you will totally change.
Oh, yeah, you're more, you're original people. You're right here. You're taught that in their schools. Over there. Sure. It's like,
everywhere. When you figure this thing out, when you really get this thing, you'll see our difficulty is us. We think it's everybody else. You know, if somebody comes to us in general with an intelligent conversation, we ain't got time for that. We start
You don't know Jesus. You miss a lot. I don't know if I can talk with you. You know, all that kind of stuff. They can get the thickest piece of glass they can find if they're intelligent and put it between them and these beasts as quick as they can, who don't honor everybody's vows and get rich like everybody else. While we keep on doing our idol God worship and won't render it to Caesar. So everybody's taking advantage of it. They ain't taking advantage of us. We don't want our state? Fine. Ain't nobody gonna kiss our butt because we dealing with idol stuff that have to do with Constantine and got nothing to do with the Nazarene, lying on him all the time. Everybody know he was J and Hebrew. Everybody know he was Hebrew. And Jesus brought Christianity from the God of heaven to the path of glory. Same book says he's a Jew. We follow him. Oh, you are? Well, how come you don't know about that dual triumph? Right. We ain't into that. Well, look. It's quite apparent. All you got to look at our families falling apart. It's clear. It's quite clear. Babies dying younger and younger. They can't make enough funeral homes. Right. Dogs can come get rich in our communities. Everybody but us. But we saved. But we ain't got to argue that. Proof is in the pudding. You know, but the world ain't got time to keep on playing games with us. Right. We keep giving up the birthright. You understand? So, the U.S., and keep this in mind, all politics is based on the yes, and that's agreement between England, which is the parent of the United States Republic, and the papacy of Rome. So all of the spoils that is acquired under colonial powers is transferred to the Jesuits. Now logically they can't pick up the land and hand it to them. So they're giving them revenue. This is why you have the IRS. Inquisition, revenue services. That's the Inquisition that started in 1213. Inquisition. So they call it now Internal Revenue Services, which Skull and Bones member Woodrow Wilson started in 1913 and to counter the bourgeoisie. What was his name? Woodrow Wilson. President. He's president. Skull and Bones.
He did what?
He sold the government off the coast of Georgia on what is known as Jekyll Island.
Yes.
That's why I made that movie, you know, Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde, switch up on you. In other words, this is the real politics. To understand the real politics is to kind of understand secret societies, understand governments, why they do what they do, why preachers say one thing, do another, why politicians say one thing, do another, why they all get rich and the dumb people stay poor, why they always talk about freedom of religion. They talk about freedom of religion is because they're giving dogma. And they maintain religions in the secret societies. And then they tell us the weird stuff they do in secret, occultism, and other people. Ooh, don't want none of that. It's all about you. That's how it's preserved. And so what is really good, they brand it evil, and what's really evil or devious, they brand it good. I mean, you understand what I'm saying? And that's how they keep the people under control. Anyway, what must be understood is that the U.S. corporation have abridged their trusteeship. They have abridged it. And so that abridgment is demonstrated through the secret orders as that's the code word for the secret order. So this secret order internally overthrew this. but yet they maintain rulership over the trust role over the American or Al-Moroccan Empire. And that's the basis of all their wealth. And as we talked about before, this is the reason why all marriage certificates and are filed in the Department of Orphans to break the line of descendancy so the states can escheat all offspring, all inheritances to maintain control. Understand, it's colorable. You understand what I'm saying? But this is one of the reasons why when you start doing writs, etc., why you start challenging them, because they're really in a trusteeship position. They own absolutely nothing. Everything here, the grains of dirt, belongs to you. That's why Charlie say in the divine warning, he says the gold, the silver, and the commerce belong to the citizens, and the citizens own. But then you gotta look deeper in that to understand what he's saying, because you're the only true citizen here. That's why I gave you a nationality card. Nobody else got one.
Right.
Because you're the heir. It's fine.
What happened in 1956?
In 1956, all right, 1954, Eisenhower, President Eisenhower, I don't use a long board, President Eisenhower closed consular courts. Consular court would be the proper venue for whenever there was an issue between us and Europeans, it should have been carried in consular court. But then if they continued that, even though they weren't using it, if they continued it with us, we would have became more conscious. Because we would have recognized that we could not be 14th Amendment citizens. But the 14th Amendment was constructed by non-radical Republicans in order to bureaucratize slavery. This is where the artificial person was created. This is why all corporations are registered in Delaware or in Nevada under the 14th Amendment as artificial persons. Such persons as Negroes, blacks, or colors, or whatever they call themselves this week, are registered under the 14th Amendment in Delaware as corporations. This is why human rights don't apply to them. I mean, you gotta understand the simple, in other words, it's all politics, but you gotta understand the manipulation. Why do they do certain things? Why are certain things said to us that are not said to other people? You know, why do they have to sign for us to even vote when other people, they don't have to do that? It's because we are listed as Christian property. And it translates, or it moves exactly with the same process as real estate. Absolutely the same. And it's transferable as an inheritance to the next generation. The same. This is why it's difficult for the people to get out of the situation. This is why it's necessary for them to keep talking racism, racism, racism to throw you off, because that's not what the problem is. It's birthright. They've got your birthright. It's not.
So why did you leave? After you recognize that straw is not you?
That's why they resist, because it's over.
So. But how do you break that? How do you stop them from resisting?
Now, this is the International Court of Justice. That's why I put that there. In other words, what we've been throwing at you all for these last few years is to prepare you to take your places in the affairs of men. In other words, prepare you mentally, to prepare you historically, to prepare you with some of the true spirituality, to qualify you to start dealing with the rest of the civilized world, because they won't recognize you if you keep coming to them with your idol God worship type attitudes. They will totally reject you. I mean, they'll do business with you, but they're not going to talk to you in anything serious, because you're acting less than human. Do you understand? Of course, we don't see that way, because we think black culture is some kind of deep stuff. The rest of the world knows it's really slave mentality. Do you understand what I'm saying? And it produces nothing but destruction. Do you understand what I'm saying? But we won't release it, because we think it came from Jesus and Allah and all that kind of stuff. But the rest of the world is raised on civilized principles. That's why even people from poor countries can come here and begin to make economic progress just like that. Right. And it's not that they're not oppressed in many ways, it's that they're not burdened with that European psychology, even though many of them have been occupied. They know that human beings are crayons. You know, so when you have a civilized person come deal with grown people that think human beings are crayons, they already know they got problems. So they already know, unless you're giving them something other than that, it's not intelligent for them to continue to deal with you, because you're dangerous, because you'll hurt them. Matter of fact, you probably kill their women and children to keep this Roman in power and then go march to Mohr because he's mistreating you. They know we'll do that because we don't know ourselves. But yet we're arrogant, you know, we're ignorant and arrogant with it too. You gotta know what we're really all about. And you know, it's a hard lesson, but we have to be honest. You understand? In other words, you can take us in the state of mind that we're in and put us in a natural, pristine area. And you'll have one or two that will appreciate it and the rest of them will tear it up. Right. You go paint that nice wall up there, they'll come and paint something with it tomorrow. Boogie butt and stuff like that, and throw 40-ounce bottles and bust them in front of your door and everything. And they get mad if you ask them, you know, please don't write on your new building. And then they'll accuse you of racism. Well, the civilized world knows that these people are animalistic, but they know they'll make you rich.
Yeah.
Do you understand what I'm saying? Because they don't know that this is their estate. So this whole confusion is because we don't know ourselves. And we don't know the real history. Thus, we don't know everybody else. So secret societies are necessary to preserve truth for those who rule. And so these are some of the keys. That's all. So that you can recognize stuff. Islam says.
I just wanted to say, first of all, thank you all for being here today.
Thank you for coming.
I'm sitting here because I'm a pastor.
Mm-hmm.
I have a 501c3, but I'm conscious.
Yes.
And as a result of it, I believe you're saying, well, first of all, I broke it every rule because I do speak out against and I teach the truth as I know it. But how do
I'm
you?
So what keeps me going?
Right. Yeah. I guess my question is, and we're in transition because most of those that were with me left me because of the truth.
Yeah.
So how do you get people to get away from the notion that we're all rolling here on ships as slaves? And you know,
Yeah.
how do? And I know they create history, but when you're right. When you go with people, if I told them that I don't know people, I said you all have Stockholm syndrome. I said you become sympathetic to the captors, and you don't understand that you've been in prison and lied to, and now you will kill me because I come to you and the truth about who you are.
Now you understand the role of Nazarene. As soon as you start dealing with the truth, you start finding that people don't want the truth. They love the dark.
They do.
This is why he says, whosoever will, let them hear. Whosoever will, let them come. Now, this is a good thing to help them. For someone like that, don't try to convince them. Being a pastor, you give them a thorough, go get everything that you can find on the Nicene Council. Absorb it. And about 1:30 at night, then you get up and write. If you're sleepy, still get up. Right? And take what you know, but go behind the reading and then pull the rest of it out that they leave out. Then present that to them, it'll free them. Because you'll never debate with them because they are under spells. Now, good lesson. Say if you were one who did not know, and you present truth to them and they start resisting, or they start getting defensive, right? Don't debate with them. You say, what was Jesus' real name? His name was Jesus. I got it on my heart. I talked to him this morning. You want to see it on my cell phone? No, that's not right. That's a personal relationship. Right? Then you say, is there a J in Hebrew? Just ask them a question. When they said yes, then you give them the truth of when the J came into the language, which you'll find. I'm gonna leave that to you to research, and it's only a couple hundred years, right? Number two, There is no J in Hebrew. And he spoke Aramaic. And they say, what was one of the phrases that the Nazarene was famous for, that everybody knew when he came? Because he'd come and say in Aramaic, Assalamu alaikum. What's that mean? Peace be unto you. Now, why don't they say that? Since they know so much about him. Because it would sound by its recognition back to its Asiatic, Moabite, Canaanite culture, which is totally contrary to this Roman culture that they Romanized him as. Because the very culture he came from, they call heathen, which makes them the hypocrite. Then you also say, well, you know about Jesus, huh? You don't know about Nazarene. Oh, I'm so glad that you want to tell me about Jesus today. Give me a little bit of the Assyrian lessons. I'm ready. And sit down and just get your paperwork and I'll wait. You're going to play with them, and you're waiting, and they're going to stand looking at you cockeyed and everything. You say, I'm waiting for you to start talking since you're going to tell me about Jesus. Give me some of the Assyrian lessons. Why? Because he was an Assyrian. And if you knew about him, then you know he was an Assyrian. And if you've been studying him, logically, you know Assyrian lessons.
Well, I did actually taught a year and a half ago about the asking about the peace and taught about the teachings about the health, and I did something called the church is fat, when I talked about the infestations of parasites, and I know about healing the diseases and how we're full of because of what we eat and so forth. And that went over their head, and they were all right with that.
Because, now, isn't it back to the fact? This is what it is. Now for yourself. When you start getting into the heart of your own truth, your morality sometimes blinds you to the fact that you assume because these people say in church and Jesus and God that there's anything more about them at all in the first place.
That's
It's a wrong assumption. That is not a house for spiritual development. It's a house for mental control.
right. I believe that.
You're dealing with people who don't know even what God is. Less more who God is. So let's look at this. This is a lesson. Now, if you see this good, no, it's a good lesson. And you do this lesson, make a building, you know, with doors and windows like that, and put this on it. Right? What is the difference? What does the high priests, the rabbis, the imams, the shokuns know about this that the masses don't know? To the masses, this is the church. Right? To the teacher, that ain't the church. That's the church. No, that's the church. The church. Church comes from Tarik, which is German, which means the circle. Now, what is that circle?
Yeah, what is that?
The circle is the science of life. Now you see that? See that right there? And they'll put the head of the Nazarene in there. You know what them gates are? Was that the church? That's the circle. East gate, west gate, north gate, south gate. Here, that's Esther that you see in the Bible. Or East Star. Star is now in the east. The resurrection. Alright? North Star. It's also the pineal. Activation of the pineal gland. The one that's hidden behind his neck is activation of the adult. Yeah. Or what you call Kundalini. That's the essential. Nirvana. That's the Christ degree. Christ was a degree, not a name. And he was a Buddha too. That's why they hide a lot of his lessons.
when I thought he was in India, they came to me and had a meeting on me and called me a liar. And my church came and said Jesus was never in India. I was a liar. I was in witchcraft. They put it on Facebook.
Look. Tell you what all them high priests know. Sringar, Hindustan. And it ain't India. Hindustan. Sringar, Hindustan is where his body is now today. Looking darker than me and you. And everybody gets the potentate degree in any secret society on this planet plays thousands of notes to go see the body of Yeshua in Sringar, India, in a golden shrine mausoleum right there in Hindustan. Because he ain't Jesus. You doggone right Jesus wasn't there. Because Jesus is the password.
And hell?
Heaven and hell's condition of life doesn't exist.
No, I teach that it doesn't.
Yeah, but I'm just saying to you, this is what I'm saying to you. Truth is not taught in those buildings. Mystery systems are taught in those buildings. And so when you as a high priest come in there and start telling the truth, you will be ostracized. Because that's not what those buildings exist for. They exist for mind control. They control society. And when you start telling the truth, they will hurt you. Do you understand? You know, so if you mean well, like in the book of Revealing, in Revelation, what thou seest, write it in the book, and let the book do the walking.
Right.